Imagine that the entire universe were a living machine, not a cold machine made of metal gears, but a conscious organism, breathing silently. Now imagine that within this immensity, there is a point of energy that pulsates, invisible, in perfect harmony with everything that exists, and that this point is you. Nikola Tesla believed this with an almost divine conviction. For him, the human being was not just matter, it was a transmitter, a fragment of the cosmos capable of capturing and emitting the frequency of the universe itself. He said that if we wanted to understand the mystery of existence, we should think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What if he was right? If the answer to the inner chaos, to the fear, to the silent anxiety that haunts our nights, was not outside but within, exactly where we never look. It's curious how humanity learned to look to the sky for answers, and forgot to look to its own body. We spent centuries believing that the mystery of life lies in the planets, in temples, in scriptures, when perhaps the true temple is the human being itself. Tesla saw this clearly. He said that the body is a divine antenna, designed to capture the most subtle vibrations of the cosmos. Each cell is a particle of light. Each heartbeat is an electrical code. The soul, for him, was not a metaphysical concept, but a concrete force that interacts with the magnetic field of the universe. The body is the receiver, the heart the generator, and thought the wave that modulates all reality. But there's a contradiction. If we are perfect machines, why do we live in imbalance? If we carry within us the same pattern of harmony that structures galaxies, why do we feel a seemingly endless void? Tesla would answer, because we've forgotten the original frequency. He believed that everything in the universe vibrates in a natural order, and that illness, suffering, and chaos are merely signs of a lost harmony. Nothing is static, he said. The entire universe is in constant motion, and whoever doesn't adapt to the rhythm gets sick. This idea isn't just scientific, it's spiritual. When the soul vibrates out of sync with the body, the human being splits into two, one that lives and the other that merely survives. The truth is, we live surrounded by artificial stimuli, lights, sounds, pressures, urgencies. Every notification we receive, every minute we disconnect from ourselves, is a small interference in this invisible field that Tesla called the vibrational network. Little by little, we become noise. We lose our inner silence, and with it, the ability to hear our own pulse. Tesla believed that this noise was the greatest disease of modern civilization, the forgetfulness that the body is, in itself, a cosmic energy plant. When this energy becomes disorganized, the soul loses direction. This is why many feel causeless fatigue, unfounded anxiety, and nameless fear. It's not life that's heavy, it's the frequency that's low. And there's something deeply symbolic about this. The heart, the organ that vibrates incessantly within us, is also the first to be ignored. We work ourselves to exhaustion, breathe hurriedly, eat without tasting, sleep without resting. The body speaks, but no one listens. And it is precisely there, in this imposed silence, that collapse begins. Tesla said that the energy of life is eternal as long as there is movement. And what is anxiety if not a disordered movement of this energy? The heart tries to keep the rhythm of the universe, but thoughts accelerate, breathing is lost, and the body enters a vibrational collapse. This is why the simple act of breathing deeply can change so much. This is why touch, silence, and awareness are still so powerful. They reset the frequency. You may never have realized it, but there's a specific point on your body that seems to hold this secret. A discreet, almost forgotten spot that vibrates like a small door between the visible and the invisible. It's there, right in the middle of your wrist. Tesla would have loved this detail. He saw it as an energetic node, a biological transformer, a portal where the heart's energy communicates with the cosmos. It's what the ancients called Neiguan, the PC-6 point, the inner portal. For Tesla, it would be physical proof that the human body is a spiritual machine. By touching this point, you're not just stimulating a nerve, you're sending an electrical message to your own energy field, reminding your body that it's part of the whole. And when this reminder awakens, something changes. Imagine for a moment that the heart, this energy generator, begins to synchronize again with the rhythm of the universe. Blood flow adjusts, breathing slows, the mind clears. There is no magic, just coherence. The same coherence that exists between the planets and their orbits. between the tides and the moon, between thunder and lightning. Tesla said that everything is interconnected by forces we cannot see, but which we feel. This is the essence of the mystery. The invisible governs the visible. And by touching the Neiguan, by reconnecting with this subtle vibration, you are not healing the body. You are restoring the lost order between humanity and the cosmos. But there's an obstacle. Modern humans no longer believe in the invisible. We've become slaves to what can be measured. We've lost our sense of wonder. For many, what cannot be seen is superstition. Tesla saw this as civilization's greatest error. He said that humanity is heading toward darkness because it confuses knowledge with wisdom. Knowledge is the accumulation of data. Wisdom is attunement to universal laws. One day, he said, science will study the invisible and discover that it is more real than anything the eyes can see. That day hasn't arrived for everyone yet, but it begins with those who have the courage to feel. And this is where the conflict begins. Do you want to understand or do you want to feel? Do you want to continue searching for answers and theories? Or do you want to listen to the silent sound vibrating within your chest right now? Tesla believed that the mind is a magnificent but dangerous tool. When it loses touch with the heart, it creates illusory worlds. The mind without the heart is calculation without compassion, logic without soul. But when both align, consciousness expands. It is in this state that man reconnects with his electrical essence, with the same field that gives life to the stars. Tesla called this state energetic communion. He saw God not as a figure, but as a frequency, the purest of all. There's something deeply moving about this vision. Think about it. Every cell in your body is a vibrating atom. Every atom is a tiny sun. Within you are entire universes pulsating silently. And each time your heart beats, it sends an electrical wave that travels throughout your body, as if reminding each cell that it is part of something greater. The touch on your wrist, the simple gesture of pressing the right spot, is a physical reminder of this invisible truth. It's the body saying, I remember. Tesla would say this is the first step toward true human evolution, not building machines outside of ourselves, but reactivating the divine machine we already are. But are we ready for this? Ready to accept that the power we seek lies in silence, not speed? That the strength we desire lies in subtlety, not imposition? Tesla believed that the future would belong to those who understood the language of energy. And this language is not learned in laboratories, it is felt. It is captured when human beings become sensitive enough to perceive the invisible rhythm of the universe within themselves. It all starts with the pulse, with a gesture, with a memory. It may seem too small, but truth always seems small until it dawns on you. Tesla said, man invents nothing, he only discovers what already exists. Perhaps this dot in your hand is just that, an ancient discovery waiting to be remembered. And then the inevitable question arises. What will happen when you touch this inner door? When the energy of your heart, guided by consciousness, aligns with the frequency of the cosmos? Will the world around you change? Or will you be the one to change the world, just by changing your own vibration? Perhaps this is what Tesla always meant, that true human progress lies not in mastering external forces, but in understanding internal ones. Because the moment you align with the invisible field that sustains everything, you cease to be a spectator of the universe and become part of its creation. And maybe the mystery we always seek outside is actually right here, pulsing silently beneath the skin, waiting for just the right touch to awaken it. Have you ever felt like there's something inside you trying to communicate, but it doesn't use words? A sudden sense of calm amidst chaos, an inner silence that appears when everything seems to be falling apart? Perhaps it's your heart trying to speak, and you've never learned its language. Nikola Tesla said that the heart is the first human transmission station. It is from it that the waves that shape everything around us originate. He believed the heart is a vibrational generator more powerful than any machine built by man. The universe is not moved by mechanical force, he said, but by waves of consciousness. Imagine for a moment that Tesla is right. Imagine that your heart is a small sun, emitting energy that spreads in all directions. Now imagine that over time, this sun began to cloud over, covered by thoughts, fears, pressures, and memories that create shadows. This is the story of almost all of us. We live in a world where overthinking is normal, and overfeeling is weakness. We were taught to reason, but not to listen. And in this imbalance, we lost touch with what Tesla called the harmonic center of life. Modern medicine is beginning to confirm something Tesla intuited over a century ago. The heart has its own nervous system, with thousands of neurons capable of processing information and influencing the brain. It feels, thinks, and communicates electrically. When you feel fear, love, anger, or hope, it's not just the brain reacting. The heart sends signals that change the body's chemistry. And when it becomes disorganized, the brain also loses its way. Tesla called this vibrational phase collapse. He explained that in any circuit, when two frequencies conflict, interference arises. This interference is noise, and noise causes chaos. Now think of the human body as this circuit. When the mind and heart don't vibrate together, the interference manifests as anxiety, insomnia, fatigue, irritation, and even illness. The solution, Tesla would say, is simple and profound: restore coherence. By reteaching the heart to align with the mind, and the mind to listen to the heart. And that's where the inner portal, the Neiguan point, comes in. For centuries, Chinese medicine has described this point as the gateway between the heart and the spirit. It's located on the wrist, between two tendons, and when pressed, it restores the flow of vital energy. For Tesla, this would be the perfect example of how the invisible can be activated by a physical gesture. He would see the Neiguan as an interface between biology and the universal energy field. Science would call it a nerve stimulation point. Tesla would call it a vibrational switch. But to understand what this means, you don't need to be a scientist. Think of a moment of crisis. Imagine someone who works all day, feels their body tense, their mind saturated, and when they get home, they lie down and still can't rest. The body is still, but the mind is at war. The heart beats fast, thoughts race, the chest tightens. This is the most common sensation of modern humanity, living in a rush, even in silence. Now imagine this person placing their finger on their pulse, inhaling slowly, and feeling their own heartbeat. Little by little, they realize they can influence that rhythm. When they inhale, the heart accelerates. When they exhale, it slows down. This dance is called heart rate variability, and in this simple act of observation, something begins to change. The body shifts from fight mode to harmony mode. The energy that was dispersed begins to flow. It is at this moment that the portal opens. Tesla would see this as living proof that the human being is a self-aware electromagnetic machine. He said that whoever controls the frequency controls reality. By touching your wrist, you're not just feeling your heart, you're adjusting the field that connects you to the universe. It's the same principle he used in his inventions. Every machine, every coil, every electric beam he produced had a purpose: to prove that energy can be conducted and transformed. And the human body is the most advanced of all his invisible machines. But what would truly amaze Tesla is how we forget this. How we live surrounded by technology, yet ignore the most powerful of all, the body. He saw humanity walking outside itself, distracted by artificial lights, while the true radiance fades within. Man seeks to master the electricity of the world, he said, but ignores the electricity that keeps him alive. And it is at this point that the Neiguan becomes more than an anatomical point. It becomes a symbol. It represents a return to the axis, a return to the original vibration. There's a story about Tesla that few know. One night, while working in his laboratory in Colorado Springs, he turned off all the lights and stared into the darkness. Out of nowhere, a small blue spark appeared between his fingers. He watched it and smiled. "It all begins like this," he said. A touch, a field, a frequency. He knew that the universe didn't need great explosions to create miracles. All it needed was the right vibration at the right time. And perhaps the same applies to human beings. The touch on the wrist is that small blue spark, a silent reminder that the power isn't outside. It's circulating within, awaiting awareness. Imagine you're facing a scary situation, an important interview, difficult news, an argument. Your heart races, your breath shortens, and your entire body reacts as if in danger. Now imagine for a second that you remember Tesla and his words about frequency. You put your hand to your wrist, press the point between your tendons, and take a deep breath. Your mind begins to slow down, your chest opens, your heart finds rhythm. This small shift changes everything, because in that instant, the chaos has lost control. You've regained control of your energy. Tesla would say that this gesture is the true use of technology, not the kind of technology made of wires and circuits, but the spiritual technology of consciousness. He believed that humanity's future would depend on the ability to combine science and intuition, body and soul, reason and vibration. Touching the Neiguan is the first experiment in this future, a way to restore the harmony between who we are and who the universe expects us to be. And there's something profoundly transformative about this. When the heart and mind become coherent, the entire body responds. Blood pressure drops, muscles relax, thoughts organize. The person becomes lucid. And suddenly, what seemed impossible begins to make sense. This is the moment when the human being once again functions as a cosmic antenna. Tesla believed that every living being has a unique frequency, but they all share the same basic melody, the universal field of life. When we are in tune, we feel peace. When we are disconnected, we feel fear. Perhaps that's why he said that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony. And this harmony begins at a very small point, a point where touch awakens flow, where silence becomes sound, and where the body remembers what it means to be part of the whole. Neiguan is more than a therapeutic tool. It's a reminder that the body is wisdom in motion. It's the portal that returns us to vibrational consciousness. But there's something else, something Tesla understood that few realize today. The heart, when coherent, influences not only the body, but also the environment. The heart's electromagnetic field extends for meters around, interacting with the fields of other people. That's why, when you approach someone calm, you feel peace. And when you approach someone tense, you feel discomfort. It's not subjective perception, it's physics. One person's field resonates with another's. Tesla would call this harmonic coupling. When a higher frequency meets a lower one, it tends to elevate it. Now imagine the impact of this on a human scale. A single person in coherence can transform an entire environment. A heart in harmony can alter the vibration of a room, a house, a city. Tesla believed this would be the true revolution of the future. Not a revolution of machines, but of human frequencies. He said that the day we learn to harness the vibrational power of the heart, humanity would no longer be at war with itself. But it starts small. It begins with recognizing the body as the first laboratory, with conscious touch, with the breath that reorganizes chaos, with the silence that replaces the internal noise. And it is here that the viewer realizes something essential. The portal so often talked about is neither a myth nor a metaphor. It is literally in your hands. The power to rebalance the heart, to align the mind, to restore the vibrational field, all of this can be activated in seconds. And somehow, all of this confirms what Tesla always wanted to prove. The universe responds to the frequency we emit. When we vibrate fear, it returns turbulence. When we vibrate peace, it returns clarity. The touch on the wrist is just a physical reminder of this cosmic law, a bridge between the human and the divine, a way to remember that we are all part of the same electrical grid that moves the stars. But there's something Tesla never said explicitly, and perhaps you need to hear it now. This connection cannot be automated. No machine can sense what the heart feels. No invention will replace the power of conscious touch. Human energy is the only force that can transform itself. And this is where the question Tesla would leave hanging in the air arises, like a riddle. If the heart is the center of the field, and the field is the center of the universe, what happens when human beings learn to control this field? Nikola Tesla believed that the universe was a living organism, and that each human being was a conscious cell in this cosmic body. He said that everything that exists is a vibration, and that each vibration contains a message. This vision to many seemed too mystical for a scientist, but Tesla saw science as the language of God. For him, studying energy was the same as studying consciousness. Every electric spark, every magnetic field, every invisible wave was a clue to the spiritual structure of the cosmos. He believed that if humankind fully understood the workings of energy, they would understand the soul. Today, more than a century later, science is beginning to confirm what he already intuited. Studies on quantum physics, bioelectromagnetism, and cardiac coherence show that the human body is not an isolated biological mass, but a vibrational field integrated with its environment. Every thought changes the heart rate. Every emotion reorganizes the magnetic field that surrounds us. This means that the way you feel, think, and breathe is literally altering the reality around you. It's a simple idea, but devastating to the traditional worldview. If everything vibrates, then nothing is truly separate. Fear, love, anger, serenity, they are all vibrational patterns. The problem is that most people have learned to live in dissonance, tuned to frequencies of anxiety and scarcity. Tesla would call this human noise, the breakdown of the natural alignment between body and spirit. He saw modern man as an out-of-tune instrument trying to play the universal symphony with broken strings. But what would happen if human beings relearned to tune themselves? If they discovered the lost note that reconnects them to the original field of the universe? Tesla believed that the secret lay precisely in the vibration of the heart, the body's strongest field, a biological antenna capable of generating electromagnetic waves detectable from meters away. He said that the heart is the true spiritual brain of man, and that it is through it that divine energy manifests. At a time when the world was kneeling before reason, Tesla dared to say that the heart thinks. It seemed like poetry, but today neuroscience proves he was right. The heart has about 40,000 neurons and is capable of sending more information to the brain than the brain sends to it. This means that emotions are not just biological responses, but electrical transmissions that shape the perception of reality. When the heart becomes coherent, the brain changes. When the heart vibrates in disorder, the entire body suffers. But what does it really mean to live in coherence? It means that the body, mind, and soul are emitting the same vibrational pattern. It's as if all your inner parts are singing the same note. In this state, human beings don't react, they create. They don't absorb the world's chaos, they transform it. Tesla said that those who understand the power of frequency can alter the course of their own lives. He believed that the great geniuses of history, artists, scientists, prophets, were simply people who learned to align their vibration with the creative field. But if this knowledge is so powerful, why do we forget it? Why do we live immersed in noise, fear, and disconnection? Perhaps because it's easier to blame the world than to adjust one's own frequency. It's more comfortable to seek external solutions than to accept that the source of imbalance lies within. Tesla warned that humanity would lose itself in excessive stimulation and technology, exchanging inner connection for distractions. Man will dominate machines, he said, but he will be dominated by what he does not feel. What if the greatest technological advancement of the future isn't a machine, but a memory? The memory that the human body is already the most advanced technology in the universe. Tesla believed the body is a natural capacitor of cosmic energy. He said the human field is a miniature of the planetary field, and that by altering its internal frequency, humans can affect the Earth's vibration. Sounds exaggerated? Perhaps. But think about how a single calm person can change the mood of a room. Think about how a genuine smile can stop an argument. Think about how love transforms everything it touches. These are simple yet powerful examples. Tesla would see in them proof that energy isn't just measured, it's felt. He believed that emotional vibration has real reach, and that a heart in harmony radiates waves capable of reordering entire fields. This was his hope for the future, a humanity capable of manipulating inner energy with the same skill with which it manipulates electricity. But there's a profound paradox here. The more humankind progresses technically, the further it distances itself from itself. We live connected to everything and, at the same time, disconnected from ourselves. Tesla foresaw this. He said that humanity's true darkness would not be the lack of light, but the forgetting of light's origin. Man will create millions of lamps and will not understand the fire that inhabits him. Have you ever wondered what would happen if human beings remembered this fire? If, instead of seeking external illumination, they ignited the internal energy that Tesla called the vital current? Imagine a world where people know how to adjust their own vibration, where healing depends not only on medicine, but on consciousness, where communication is not only through words, but through an energy field. A world where the touch of the wrist, the Neiguan, is used not only as a technique but as a symbol of reconnection. What if this touch were the key to accessing the language of the universe? Tesla believed that all things communicate through frequency. He said the universe speaks in vibrations, and that those who learn to listen to this language will never feel lost again. Perhaps this is why, in moments of deep calm, we feel like we understand everything, even without thinking. In that instant, we are in tune. But there's a nagging question. Why do we resist silence so much? Why are we afraid of what we find when the noise ceases? Perhaps because silence returns us to truth, and truth demands transformation. Tesla believed that silence was the true laboratory of the soul. It was in silence that he had his greatest ideas, his electric visions, his flashes of genius. He said that ideas come when man learns to listen to the field. To the field, that invisible force that sustains everything, the energetic fabric of the universe. Modern science calls this a unified field, but Tesla already spoke of it as a consciousness. He saw the universe as a vibrational mind where everything is connected. Nothing is coincidental. No encounter, no emotion, no thought is lost. Everything is an electrical recording in an ocean of energy. And that's why he believed that prayer, meditation, and even love are physical forces, capable of altering the space around them. But what does this mean in everyday life? It means that your vibrational state affects everything, from the people you encounter to the circumstances you attract. It means that every time you choose to react with anger, sadness, or fear, you send waves of disorder into the field. But every time you choose to breathe, be silent, and align yourself, you contribute to the balance of the whole. Tesla said that a harmonious person is like a tuning fork. He makes the entire universe vibrate in tune. Have you ever noticed how, when you're at peace, things seem to flow naturally, as if time were organizing itself in your favor? And have you ever noticed how, in days of inner chaos, the world seems to resist your every step? Tesla would explain it simply. The world is a vibrational mirror. It returns what you emit. There's no coincidence in that. Physics simply follows consciousness. But there is one point Tesla would never overlook: the danger of using this knowledge selfishly. He believed that human vibrational power was not given for control, but for creation. The energy of the universe, he said, is love in motion. And love, for him, was not emotion. It was structure, order, balance. When man uses the power of energy with ego, he creates destruction. When he uses it with love, he creates harmony. What would happen if humanity, instead of seeking power, sought harmony? If schools taught children to listen to their own hearts before learning to compete? If hospitals combined science and vibration, treating body and energy simultaneously? Tesla believed this would be civilization's evolutionary leap, the fusion of technology and consciousness. The world would stop fighting itself, and human energy would become fuel for real progress. But before that, you need to relearn how to listen. Listen to your body, your rhythm, your silence. Listen to what the universe is trying to tell you. Tesla said that every emotion is a message from the field. When you feel fear, the field is showing you where there is resistance. When you feel love, it's showing you that you are aligned. The universe doesn't punish, it only responds. Perhaps the greatest secret is not to seek the right vibration, but to stop resisting the one that's already present. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't make frequency mistakes. We are the ones who make mistakes when we try to live outside of life's natural rhythm, and the price of this mistake is emptiness. Tesla knew this. He lived and died surrounded by inventions. But what fascinated him most wasn't the machine itself, but the invisible field between machines. He said that real power lies in what cannot be seen. And perhaps that's why the touch on the wrist, the Neiguan, remains such a powerful symbol. It represents the point of reconnection, the moment when man remembers that he is living energy. It's the return to the original vibration, to the silent sound that sustains the universe. Tesla would see in this gesture proof that spirituality and science are simply two different languages trying to describe the same phenomenon. What would happen if we stopped separating what we feel from what we think? What if we understood that emotion and reason are merely poles of the same electric current? Tesla said that duality is an illusion. Everything is flux, movement, exchange. Positive and negative are not opposites but complementary. Electricity doesn't flow without both. The same is true for human beings. There is no light without shadow, no harmony without contrast. And it is in this balance that true power lies. Not in eliminating fear, but in transforming its frequency. Not in denying chaos, but in reorganizing it. Tesla said that energy never dies, it only changes form. The same goes for emotions. Fear can become courage, pain can become wisdom, loneliness can become awareness. It all depends on how you conduct the vibration. And ultimately, that's what this whole journey is about. Learning to drive, learning to engineer your own frequency. Tesla would say this is humanity's ultimate destiny, to master not machines but the energy field itself, because he who masters his field masters reality. But there's an even greater mystery. If everything vibrates and if everything is energy, what is what we call self? Who is the observer behind all these frequencies? Tesla believed that consciousness is the original energy, the source of everything, and that the human being is just a fragment of this consciousness experiencing itself in form. In other words, the universe is observing itself through you, and perhaps that's why the touch on the wrist has such symbolic power, because at its core, it's a reminder. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos in human form. The universe vibrates in you and you vibrate in the universe. And when both align, the entire reality changes tone. In an increasingly fast-paced world, where time seems to dissolve between notifications, emergencies, and promises of infinite productivity, few remember that human energy also has limits. We live surrounded by machines that consume electricity, but we ignore the fact that we ourselves are conductors of a much more subtle energy. Nikola Tesla said that the human body is a cosmic battery, and that each emotion is a kind of electric current moving through us. He believed that a person's health, balance, and even destiny depend on how they manage this invisible energy. Modern science is beginning to touch the edges of this truth. A study conducted by Stanford University showed that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field about 5,000 times more intense than that of the brain, and this field can be measured up to 3 meters away from the body. This data, for Tesla, would be a practical confirmation of what he already intuited in the 19th century. The heart is the true electrical center of the human being, and when it loses coherence, the entire system vibrates in disarray. But what does it mean to live in vibrational disorder? Just look at the planet. According to the World Health Organization, more than 300 million people suffer from anxiety disorders, and about 280 million live with some degree of depression. The heart of humanity beats in dissonance. The collective energy of the planet reflects this confusion. It's as if the global human field is constantly overloaded by frequencies of fear, haste, and disconnection. Tesla warned about this. The greatest danger to humanity is not external destruction, but the internal noise that prevents it from hearing the universal field. Imagine for a moment that Earth is a gigantic electrical circuit, and each person is a component of that system. When enough people vibrate with fear, the circuit destabilizes. When these people regain inner harmony, the planetary field reorganizes. This isn't just a mystical idea, it's physics. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that changes in solar activity, the Earth's magnetic field, and even fluctuations in the ionosphere can affect collective human mood and behavior. Likewise, mass human emotions also alter the planet's electromagnetic field. It's a constant dialogue between the cosmos and the human heart. Tesla would have called this mutual resonance, the vibrational communication between man and the universe. He said that everything in nature works by resonance. A tuned note makes another distant note vibrate. The same happens with people. One heart in balance influences another, even without words. This is the true basis of empathy. But there's something deeper here. Why, despite all the technology, does humanity still feel empty? Why have we never had so much access to information, and at the same time, so much lack of meaning? The answer may lie in vibrational disconnection. We create machines to amplify sound, image, and light, but we forget to amplify internal coherence. Tesla believed that when humans ignore their own frequency, they become prisoners of noise. The body begins to speak through symptoms: insomnia, anxiety, fatigue, trying to remind us of something we've forgotten. The body is a translator of vibrations. Consider the simple act of touching the Neiguan point on your wrist. Modern medicine associates it with the vagus nerve, responsible for regulating the heart, lungs, and digestive system. This nerve is the main channel of the parasympathetic nervous system, the one that calms, restores, and heals. When we press Neiguan, we activate an electrical response that slows the heartbeat, regulates breathing, and balances mental impulses. It's not magic, it's electrical biology. Tesla would call this frequency restoration. He saw the body as a self-regulating circuit, designed by nature to return to balance when properly stimulated. Now imagine a true story. A 2019 experiment conducted by Harvard Medical School studied 60 patients with recurrent panic attacks. Half of the group learned the acupressure technique on the PC-6 Neiguan point and practiced it during anxiety episodes. After 6 weeks, the number of attacks dropped by 45%. Among those who didn't practice, the improvement was only 12%. The difference was palpable, measurable, and inexplicable to those who still insist on seeing the body as merely a collection of tissues. Tesla reportedly said that this is proof that man is a divine machine and electricity is the breath of the soul. There are even more surprising stories. During World War II, Chinese doctors used the Neiguan point to treat shell-shocked soldiers, applying continuous pressure to stabilize their heart rhythm and restore consciousness. Documented accounts indicate that many of these soldiers recovered within minutes, when before they seemed lost. Tesla would see this not as a miracle, but as an instantaneous frequency adjustment. He believed that shock, trauma, and pain are electrical interruptions. Healing them means reconnecting the circuit. What if this also applied to our emotional pain? When someone suffers a loss, the body literally changes frequency. The heart contracts, the magnetic field decreases, and the body's vibration becomes irregular. This is why, after a bereavement, many people become ill. Modern science calls this broken heart syndrome, but Tesla would see it as an energetic collapse. He would say, the human heart is a transformer. When the current of love is interrupted, the system seeks a new source of energy. If it doesn't find one, it shuts down. But there's a beauty in this. The heart can reignite, the human field can restructure itself, and the energy of love, which Tesla defined as the cohesive force of the universe, is the fuel for this restoration. He said that the frequency of love is the highest vibration in existence, and that any emotion that deviates from it generates distortion. Therefore, when someone forgives, even without words, the entire body changes. The field opens, the heart rate stabilizes, and the mind sees clearly again. Perhaps what Tesla most wanted to teach humanity was this: the power to adjust one's own field. He saw human consciousness as a natural laboratory and believed that every emotion is an electrical experience. He himself said that his greatest discoveries came not from the New York laboratories, but from the silent experiences in his room, where he would spend hours in meditation, imagining electrical currents flowing through space. What if this imagination were the real secret? The Max Planck Institute in Germany published a study revealing that the human body constantly emits photons, particles of light. These emissions, known as biophotons, increase with intense emotions. This means that when you feel fear, love, or hope, you literally glow more or less. Tesla would have been amazed by this discovery. He said that the human soul is a lamp whose light adjusts to the purity of thought. This inner light may explain something that has always intrigued ancient spiritual masters: the aura. Today, special cameras like Kirlian's can record this light emission. Each person radiates a unique pattern of luminosity. And guess what? When someone activates the Neiguan point and the heart field becomes coherent, the emission of biophotons increases. It's as if the body is saying, "I'm connected again." But why have we strayed so far from this wisdom? Perhaps because we've been trained to distrust the invisible. Tesla said that modern man only believes in what he can measure, but the universe is composed precisely of what we don't yet know how to measure. He predicted that one day science would unify the invisible and the visible, and on that day humanity would understand that spirituality is just accelerated science. He was right. Today, quantum physics talks about entanglement, particles separated by billions of kilometers that influence each other instantly. If two electrons can remain connected across space, why not two hearts? Tesla believed that human bonds are invisible electrical wires. When we love someone, we create an energetic circuit. Even when separated, the vibration persists. Perhaps that's why we think of someone moments before receiving a message from them. The field has already captured the resonance. The same logic applies to the planet. When natural disasters strike, millions of people feel anguish simultaneously, even if they don't know the reason. The global landscape changes. Tesla said that the Earth is a living being and that humans are its nervous system. When we feel fear, the planet trembles. When we feel peace, it breathes. And he believed that technology could be used to amplify collective harmony, not chaos. But are we ready to use this power consciously? If human energy can affect the planet, then every thought is a vibrational contribution to the global field. This completely transforms the notion of responsibility. We are not just inhabitants of the Earth, we are co-authors of its frequency. Tesla believed that the future of humanity would depend on the ability to synchronize minds and hearts to a common vibration. He called this the coherence revolution. Imagine a city where people start their day with a few minutes of silence, touching a point on their wrist and breathing consciously, not as a religious ritual, but as an energetic adjustment. Studies have already shown that communities that meditate collectively reduce rates of violence and disease. The Peaceful Cities Project, carried out in Washington in the 1990s, proved this. During periods of mass meditation, crime rates dropped by up to 23%. Tesla would have seen this as empirical evidence that the collective field is real and responds to human intention. What would happen if governments, schools, and hospitals understood this truth? If caring for human vibration were considered as essential as nutrition or sleep? Tesla believed the future of medicine would be electric. He wasn't talking about shocks or devices, but about restoring the natural current that flows through the body. When we understand the energy that animates us, he said, disease will cease to be a mystery and will become merely a lack of attunement. And perhaps the greatest challenge isn't discovering new secrets, but remembering the old ones. Remembering that every gesture, every emotion, and every breath is a way of emitting energy. That healing begins when a human being stops fighting their own rhythm. That the Neiguan, that little door on the wrist, is a physical reminder that the power to restore oneself has always been at hand. Imagine the global impact if this consciousness were to expand, if millions of people, every day, reconnected their energy to the coherent field of the heart. Tesla believed this could literally change the Earth's magnetism. He saw the planet as a vast coil of spiritual energy, and the human being as a spark in this circuit. When all the sparks ignite at once, he said, the darkness of the world disappears. And perhaps this is the truth that is about to emerge. Science is catching up with what Tesla saw over 100 years ago. The human body is a resonating instrument, the heart is its powerhouse, and love is the most stable frequency in the universe. But the question remains, what will happen when humanity finally accepts this responsibility? What will change when we stop seeing the energy field as a metaphor and understand it as reality? Tesla believed this would be the turning point of civilization, the moment when science and the soul would finally speak the same language. Nikola Tesla believed that the future of humanity would not be defined by wars, borders, or ideologies, but by how each human being learned to manage their own energy. He said that humankind is not made merely of flesh and bones, but of invisible frequencies, fields, and currents that sustain everything we are. If this energy is misaligned, life becomes noise. But when it flows in harmony, the impossible begins to seem natural. Tesla believed that the human body is a living antenna. He said that each cell is a tiny receiver and transmitter, vibrating in tune with the universal field. When a human being thinks, feels, or desires something, they emit a frequency. This frequency, in contact with the cosmic field, returns in the form of reality. What you experience isn't what happens by chance. It's what resonates with your vibration. And that's why so many people repeat the same cycles, the same pain, the same stories. They don't change the field. They try to alter the form, but they forget that form is a consequence of frequency. Quantum physics, which Tesla already intuitively anticipated, now confirms this logic. Experiments with the so-called observer effect show that the mere presence of consciousness alters the behavior of matter. Energy responds to attention. This means that the human gaze, what we feel and focus on, literally shapes the outcome of experiences. Tesla said that the universe is a vast vibrational mirror, and every thought is an instruction cast upon this mirror. If you vibrate fear, it reflects circumstances that confirm that fear. If you vibrate trust, the world reorganizes itself to sustain it. But what prevents people from accessing this power is forgetfulness. We live distracted, fragmented, and emotionally overwhelmed. The human mind has become a field saturated with interference. News, opinions, comparisons, all of this creates noise in the energy field. Tesla called this vibrational pollution, the numbing of the human heart in the face of excessive stimulation. For him, silence was the true fuel of the creative mind. If you want to discover the secrets of the universe, he said, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, and silence the inner noise. Imagine for a moment a night of lightning. Tesla would often walk through lightning bolts, feeling the sky's energy course through his skin. He said that in that instant he felt the pulse of the universe. There was no fear, only connection. He believed that natural electricity was a reflection of the Earth's spiritual field. Each bolt was a message, each discharge a reminder that the cosmos is alive, and he saw himself as part of this circuit, not an observer but a conductor. This image, besides being poetic, conceals a powerful metaphor. Human beings are also traversed by invisible lightning bolts. Every intense emotion, every sudden awakening of consciousness, is an energetic discharge that changes the inner structure. And, like the Earth after a storm, the body needs to reorganize itself to find balance. The difference is that most people don't know how to channel this power. They fear it. Tesla, on the other hand, studied it. He said that every emotional surge is an opportunity for expansion if humans learn to redirect the current instead of resisting it. What if you could transform every emotion into useful energy? If you could take anger, fear, pain, and convert them into creative force? This isn't utopia. It's what Tesla called vibrational transmutation. He believed that the human soul has the power to reconfigure its own frequency, just as an engineer adjusts a machine. The secret is not to run away from emotion, but to feel it fully until it dissolves into light. He said that every emotion is a form of energy trying to return to its source. Resisting it is like holding back lightning. You get burned. Letting it flow is transformation. This idea isn't just metaphysical. Modern neuroscience studies show that repressed emotions alter the hormonal landscape, weaken the immune system, and reduce cardiac coherence. The body suffers when the mind resists. But when there's emotional release, the rhythm of the heart and brain realign, and the body recovers faster. It's as if biology responds to forgiveness. Tesla understood this perfectly. He saw forgiveness as an electrical reboot. For him, hatred and guilt were short circuits in the soul. Love, on the contrary, was the full flow of universal energy. There's a little-known story about Tesla. Once, after a public dispute with Thomas Edison, he was humiliated and ridiculed. His reputation was being destroyed, and his investments were evaporating. Instead of fighting back, Tesla simply disappeared for months. When he reappeared, he was serene. He was asked how he had endured so much injustice. He replied, "The universe corrects imbalance. Hatred is wasted energy. Silence is the path of return." This episode shows how deeply he understood the vibrational workings of life. He didn't fight chaos. He simply tuned in above it. But this requires courage. Because tuning out the chaos means choosing not to react to the noise. And this seems like weakness to a world that mistakes noise for strength. Tesla knew this. He said that the higher mind does not fight, it vibrates at another frequency. True strength lies not in overcoming conflict, but in rising beyond it. It's curious to think that we live in the most technological era in history, but the energy we lack most doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. According to the International Labor Organization, more than 60% of professionals worldwide report high levels of mental and physical exhaustion. So-called chronic fatigue is already considered a modern epidemic. Tesla would argue that this is a result of the mismatch between biological energy and the artificial rhythm of machines. He saw industrialization as a risk to inner harmony. Man is building engines, he said, but forgetting to keep his own spark alive. He believed that the future would depend on a fusion of technology and spirituality between the machine and the heart, and that future seems ever closer. NASA scientists have discovered that the human brain generates an electrical field that oscillates in resonance with Earth's frequencies, known as Schumann resonances. These frequencies range around 7.83 Hz, the same frequency recorded during states of deep meditation. This means that the human body literally vibrates in tune with the planet. When we disconnect, we become ill. When we reconnect, everything flows again. Tesla believed that humanity needed to rediscover the Earth's natural rhythm. He said the planet is a giant heart, and each human being is a beating cell. If the Earth's heart slows down, he said, humanity loses its rhythm. Today, the data confirms this. During periods of major global crises, Schumann resonances show unusual fluctuations, as if the planet felt the collective emotional impact. When there are moments of peace or unity, these frequencies return to harmony. The Earth's field responds to the human field, just as Tesla predicted. But what does this mean in practice? It means that each person has the power to contribute to global balance simply by restoring their own field. This may seem small, but imagine billions of human beings emitting coherent vibrations of peace, trust, and love. The result would be a planetary field in stable resonance, a planet literally vibrating in harmony. Tesla believed this was humanity's destiny, to become a resonant civilization. He also said that the first step is self-knowledge, not the kind constructed by words or theories, but the kind that emerges from silence. He believed that silence is the true laboratory of the soul, the point where energy reorganizes itself. When someone touches the Neiguan point, slows their breathing, and feels their own pulse, they are reconnecting to the original field. It's not just a therapeutic gesture, it's an act of remembrance. It's the body saying, I'm back in the frequency of life. And perhaps this is what the world needs to relearn, to remember what it truly is. To remember that we are not isolated machines, but expressions of infinite energy. Tesla saw human beings as sparks of the divine, trying to understand their own brilliance. He said that when humankind remembers its electrical nature, it will stop seeking God in the heavens and find Him within itself. But how does this memory begin? Sometimes in simple ways. A sunset that makes you stop and breathe. A silent look that diffuses an argument. A moment when time seems suspended. In these moments there is coherence. The field reorganizes. The mind stops measuring and the heart feels again. It is there that energy flows again. Tesla believed that the universe speaks in these intervals. When man finally falls silent, he said that divine energy is not distant but present in every atom, waiting to be perceived, and that when man becomes aware of this, he changes the structure of reality. Matter, Tesla said, is only energy slowed down enough to be seen. If everything is energy, then changing energy is changing matter. This is the basis of all transformation, not forcing, but vibrating differently. Perhaps that's why he spent the last years of his life in isolation, living in simple hotels, subsisting almost exclusively on milk, honey, and water. He believed that a clean body heightened vibrational sensitivity. He said that true nutrition lies not only in food, but in the frequencies it carries. Eating for him was a sacred act, absorbing cosmic energy converted into matter. Today, biophotonic studies confirm that fresh, living foods emit more light, just as Tesla said. For him, everything was interconnected. The way we think, eat, breathe, and feel is part of the same energetic field. When human beings understand this, they begin to live with purpose. They stop wasting energy on what doesn't resonate. They stop fighting what is, and they begin to dance with the flow of life. But there is one final lesson Tesla would leave us. Humility in the face of mystery. He said the universe is too infinite to fit into equations, but generous enough to reveal itself to those who vibrate in harmony with it. True wisdom, according to him, lies not in accumulating knowledge, but in learning to listen. Silence, he said, is the sound of creation in motion. So perhaps the true revolution will come not from machines, but from hearts. When humans understand that they are energy, and that everything they emit returns to them, the entire civilization will change course. There will be no need for domination or control, because everyone will know that hurting another is hurting themselves in the common energy field. This is the turning point Tesla predicted, the moment when humanity will awaken to the knowledge of the spirit, and when that happens, perhaps human history will finally truly begin. Nikola Tesla used to say that the universe rewards not the wise man who merely observes, but the one who transforms knowledge into a living frequency. He believed that understanding without practice is wasted energy, a lit lamp that never illuminates. Therefore, as we reach the end of this journey, the inevitable question is, what to do with all this? How can we transform what now vibrates within you in words, images, and emotions into a concrete force capable of altering your reality and, perhaps, the Earth's very field? The answer lies not in distant theories but in small acts of daily attunement. Tesla said that the power of the universe lies in everything that is repeated with intention and consciousness. And this means that the secret lies not in deeply understanding the cosmos, but in adjusting to it every day, like tuning an instrument. It's not a grand effort, but a silent constancy, like that of a star that shines without ever making a sound. The first step is the vibrational silence. Set aside a few minutes every day to listen to your own field. Sit with your spine erect, close your eyes, and touch the point between your wrist tendons, the Neiguan, the gateway to the electrical heart. Breathe slowly, and imagine that with each inhalation, the energy of the cosmos enters you. With each exhalation, everything dissonant dissolves. Tesla said that air is the first conductor of universal energy. He saw breathing not just as a biological act, but as a way of charging the body with cosmic current. When you breathe consciously, you are literally recharging your soul. The second step is the emotional adjustment. Observe emotions as electrical currents. When you feel fear, don't fight it. Understand that it's just a low frequency trying to return to order. Tesla said that energy is never lost, it only changes form. Anger can transform into clarity, sadness into empathy, silence into wisdom. The secret is not to resist. Feel whatever comes, but direct that current to your heart, not your ego. The ego consumes, the heart transforms. Science proves Tesla's intuition. Studies show that when the heart enters coherence, that state of calm and mindfulness, it sends rhythmic signals to the brain, balancing hormones, decreasing cortisol, and increasing oxytocin. The entire body changes. This means that each emotion transformed into presence is, literally, a physical healing. The practice is simple, but requires discipline. Every time something irritates you, bring your attention to your pulse, breathe, feel the beat, and imagine yourself reconnecting to the field. Touching the Neiguan is not a mystical gesture. It's a biological reminder that the energy is within you, not in the external chaos. The third step is the mental readjustment. Tesla believed that thought is a form of creative electricity. He said that every idea possesses a field, and that thinking coherently aligns oneself with the universe. The human mind, when scattered, acts like a disorganized coil. Energy is lost in noise. But when it focuses with purpose and emotion, it generates what Tesla called a coherent field of attraction. This isn't a metaphor, it's physics applied to consciousness. Everything you focus on with intention and feeling begins to vibrate around the same frequency. Therefore, write what you wish to manifest, but write with presence, not need. The universe doesn't respond to requests, it responds to vibrations. The fourth step is the daily energy repositioning. Wake up and observe your body before looking at the world. Ask yourself, what frequency am I starting the day on? Tesla said that the first vibration of the morning sets the tone for the entire journey. So, upon waking, touch your wrist, take 3 deep breaths, and repeat mentally, "Today I vibrate in harmony with creation." It's not about belief, but about vibrational coherence. Each morning is a new experiment with the field, and the field responds to what you emit. But this journey isn't just individual. Tesla believed that human vibration is contagious, and that a coherent heart has the power to affect hundreds of other fields around it. Modern physics confirms this. Research shows that people in positive emotional states increase the level of coherence in their environment, while negative emotions reduce group harmony. This means that each person who rebalances contributes to collective equilibrium. The true revolution Tesla predicted begins not in laboratories or governments, but within the human heart. And this is where the fifth step comes in. The social application of vibration. Tesla said that society will only be free when each man understands that he is a station of universal energy. This means that your personal coherence is not only a spiritual act, but a service to the world. When you choose to vibrate in peace, you are literally sending out waves that reduce global noise. When you act with empathy, you stabilize the emotional field of those around you. When you breathe in silence in the face of chaos, you become a point of stability amidst collective collapse. And this is real. Studies of urban magnetic fields show that mass emotions alter electromagnetic measurements in the atmosphere. The human heart, in coherence, radiates a field up to 3 meters across. But this field interacts with the fields of others, generating waves of constructive interference. Tesla would see this as the beginning of what he called the human vibrational network, an invisible system of interconnected hearts, capable of influencing the Earth itself. The sixth step is the simplest and most challenging: act from frequency, not from haste. We live in an age where people do too much and feel too little. They produce without purpose, react without reflection. Tesla said, The man who acts without vibration is dead in motion. He believed that action without awareness is a waste of energy. So, before deciding, ask yourself, is what I'm about to do consistent with how I feel? If the answer is no, stop. The universe doesn't reward speed, it rewards harmony. And when you begin to live this way, aware of your frequency, your pulse, your breathing, something begins to silently change. People will notice, even if they don't understand. Previously confusing situations resolve themselves. Coincidences become natural. Time seems to work in your favor. Tesla said that living in coherence is the natural state of the human being. Everything else is interference. This is the point of no return. From this point on, there is no longer any need to seek the divine, because the divine is pulsing within you. But perhaps the most profound step is the seventh, the remembrance of vibrational purpose. Tesla believed that every soul has an energetic mission, a unique frequency that came to restore something in the world's field. Discovering it isn't about creating a plan. It's about feeling what vibrates within you with strength and peace at the same time. This is the signal. He said that the soul's mission is the sound that never stops within the heart. When you listen to it, your entire life reorganizes. Work, relationships, opportunities, everything begins to flow in harmony with this inner sound. And here, at the heart of this transformation, practical action is born. Transform every moment into a vibrational experiment. What Tesla proposes, in essence, is that you live as a scientist of your own consciousness. Observe yourself, test your reactions, adjust your field. When waking up, feel your pulse. When talking, notice the vibration of your voice. When eating, feel the energy of the food. When walking, notice whether your body moves with lightness or tension. Everything is a field, and each field is a mirror. The world responds not to your stated intentions, but to your actual vibration. Tesla believed that humanity would enter a new era when it understood this. He saw the future as a time when humanity would measure the value of actions not by visible results, but by their vibrational impact. And perhaps that future is already beginning now, in each person who chooses to reconnect. Basically, this is the plan. Be silent for a few minutes every day. Tap the Neiguan point and breathe. Observe your emotions without judgment. Redirect them to the heart. Choose to vibrate with purpose. Act from that vibration. Repeat until this becomes your natural state. It's not a technique. It's a reminder. The reminder that the universe vibrates within you and expects you to vibrate back. Tesla said that the human soul is the antenna that connects the finite to the infinite. He believed that humankind's destiny is to become aware of this bridge and walk it wisely. Therefore, this moment is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of a new vibration, the vibration of awakened consciousness. What if right now, as you read these words, the field around you began to adjust? What if every beat of your heart was a response from the universe saying, "I hear you." You don't have to believe it, just feel it. Because true science and true spirituality have never been separate. They are the same light, divided into two angles of perception. Tesla understood this, and that is why his presence resonates even today, like a field of living energy that transcends time. Now the choice is in your hands, or rather, in your wrist. The Neiguan point is not just a symbol, it is a physical reminder that everything begins when you touch yourself with awareness. Touch your wrist now, feel the beat. Realize that there is a living intelligence sustaining every cell, every breath, every thought. This is the universe within you. And when you understand this, you will no longer need to look for signs. You will become the sign itself. From today on, live as Tesla would, observing energy before form, feeling before acting, vibrating before speaking. Transform silence into a laboratory, the body into an instrument, and the heart into a transmitter. And remember, every person who rebalances themselves raises the frequency of the world. You can be that spark. If this content touched something within you, if it awakened a thought, a memory, an emotion, don't let that energy dissipate. Channel it. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your experiences, questions, or insights in the comments, even anonymously. What you feel can inspire someone to find their own frequency. Transformation doesn't happen silently. It spreads, vibrates, and ignites other hearts. And this is how the true Tesla revolution begins, one awakened soul at a time.